is happening, everybody? My name is Beth and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober. Now today we have a very exciting review. As you can tell, I went and watched Saw X yesterday as I'm filming this video, and we are here today to talk about it and review the movie, the long anticipated Saw 10. So let's just get straight into it. I ain't messing around. We're going to talk about the good, we're going to talk about what I think could have been better, improvements, this and that, in my own opinion, and obviously we'll get to my rating at the end. Everyone is familiar with the story of this. The trailer is very self-explanatory as to what this film is about. Obviously we're taking place between the first and the second movie. So, you know, we've still got the OG cast in there. We have John and we have Amanda, who were the OG sort of creators and people that set these traps up and were involved. So it was great to see these guys back in it. You know, it's always such a good feeling to like bring people back in a huge franchise. It's just so nostalgic and it's like, it's worth the wait and it's exciting. So 100%, like, I was excited for this movie. Just quick backstory, I've seen all the Saw movies. I'm more familiar with the like first four, and then it goes a bit blurry at the back end because it's been so long. But this is what I mean, like the Saw franchise, there's so many movies, it's kind of hard to keep track. I wouldn't say I'm a super fan, but I respect the original Saw so much, with it going from a short little film with James Wan and Lee Whannell to then making 10 films out of it. I think that is just so impressive and amazing to see. And as a, you know, an ex-film student as well, it's like very inspiring to see that kind of work be done. So, you know, the fact that they're still doing this, I'm a little disappointed that James Wan has kind of passed the baton over to other filmmakers though, to kind of create these stories. I know James Wan is obviously produces all of them. Obviously this is his, you know, owned idea. But it was, I kind of wanted to see some of James Wan's amazing directing. You know, nothing will ever beat the original, and I'm in agreement with that. A lot of people are saying Saw X is better than the original, if not on par. I don't think it's on the same level, but I do think it's pretty solid for it being number 10. You know, when you make more and more of something, it tends to lose its excitement and everything good about it. So I'm appreciative of them doing a good job with a 10th installment, because I think it's kind of hard to do nowadays. People get bored easily. We need new, fresh ideas. What I really liked about this movie, I have to say, is, you know, once again, I find Saw movies just so entertaining, and this, like I said, it just delivered. It really delivered, and I wanted to keep watching. I was invested. I wasn't looking at my phone every 20 minutes. I was, you know, it wasn't boring. It wasn't really slow at any points. It just kept going, and I think that's what they do very well with the Saw movies, is because we have the severity of the Saw traps, which are like, want to look like that, are very intense. It does a very good job of having a thick story and following John that, you know, you just want to keep watching, and you don't want to take your eyes off the screen because you want to know what's going to happen next. I think that's what's so good about these movies, is you don't know what is around the corner, you don't know what's in the next scene, so you are very much on the edge of your seat wanting to know more. Such a good job, and like I said earlier, like, I think they've done an amazing job of keeping the fire and keeping this idea and John and movie alive, because they've done a great job. The other thing as well, like, obviously the traps were super fun, they were gory as you get in a Saw movie. You know, I think they were very creative. They were obviously trying to go for ideas where we haven't seen before, make it a bit more like intense and just, like I said, more exciting, because half these traps we haven't seen before, we wouldn't have even thought of them. And another thing that I liked as well is I liked the fact that we're seeing John and Amanda together again, and sort of seeing them at the beginning of this journey. Like, in the first movie, we don't really see John and Amanda working together, but in this one, it's like we see the dynamic between them, we see the relationship that they have, and you can see like the care that they have for one another, which is like really nice to see, because we obviously didn't see that pretty much like throughout these movies where they're, you know, in scenes together, we didn't really see that. So it was nice to kind of see them at the beginning of this journey, to see how they behaved and how they set things up, and how they kind of took the stress and the intensity of everything that was going on. But, you know, I think they both played great roles. They slotted right back into who they were, which was great to see as well. Things that I would have done differently to make my rating go up, to overstep the first one, is what I would say. So the first thing, as I'm continuing on from what I've just said as well for cons, is something that kind of annoys me is I just found Amanda and John's performance and dialogue very, like, stripped back and emotional. Whereas in the first one, in the second one, in the third one, Amanda and John are, like, fucking brutal. Like, they don't care. They are getting their revenge. And like, they have, like, they don't take any bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, that's who they are. And especially Amanda, like, she's an ex-drug addict. Like, obviously her emotions are gonna be all over the place, so she's gonna be angry and sad and excited, and that's just how she's going to behave and be. The fact that they were both very emotional, and then obviously there's a child involved, which I was a bit like, come on, like, that's really... You guys, if you guys watch my other reviews, you know how I feel about them involving children in horror movies, is it definitely lowers the severity level, and I was like, come on. So I don't know, I think that I'm aware that it was, you know, a bit before the second and third, so it, like, obviously is showing us, like, John just going through this treatment and how hard it was for him, which I completely agree and understand. But when he's getting the revenge, him and Amanda just seem very, like laid back and not as sort of intense, crazy, like, on the ball. We've seen darker versions of them, and I felt with this one they were both very, like, oh yeah, save the kid, or we need to take her to a hospital. Whereas in the other movies, they're very more, like, brutal and they just don't care. So that was one thing that kind of bugged me, is I was like, okay, and then I know you could also argue, like, this is just how they started off, and then as the more they did it, they were just got, you know, more kind of brutal with it, which, I mean, fair enough, but I wanted, like, the Amanda that goes freaking psycho, like, in the third one. Like, I want that kind of Amanda here. And it was unfortunate that we didn't get it. I was waiting for her to go absolutely crazy and just, like, all the people in the traps are, like, you know, hitting her and trying to grab her. And I'm like, come on, like, Amanda, like, snap back like you normally would. I would have liked to have seen some more layers to the acting and the dialogue. The other thing as well, just another quick thing, is before I went to watch it, I was hearing about how the traps were really crazy, the gore was on, like, a par with, like, Terrifier. If I'm quite honest with you, I don't agree with that statement. I don't think the gore was anything that we haven't seen before, and I think the traps were, like I said, unique, different, interesting, but I don't think they were out of this world bad shit crazy. I was kind of expecting more, but people gave me the wrong impression. I guess that's what I get for listening to people. They were cool, but I think they could have gone, you know, down deeper in the rabbit hole with it. And then last but not least, I also think that the twist at the end, obviously a Saw movie has a twist, that is a Saw movie in itself in a nutshell. I thought that the twist in this one, number one, it was super predictable, and I don't know, because we're 10 movies in, if it's just one of those things now where, like, the twist you'll always be able to guess and suspect because we've been there 10 times already. But I just felt like the twist was like, okay, cool, like, obviously, like, we knew that John Kramer was going to one-up them. He obviously doesn't die because he's in the next movie. So I felt like the twist wasn't as impactful as it could have been, like it does in the first one. You're never going to be able to beat the twist in the first one, no way. I think that it could have been better, and I think right at the end when we have, like, the doctor and then the guy that she's with, like, fighting for their life upstairs with the gases coming in the room, I felt like their deaths could have been way more brutal, and I wish they were, because I felt like that was a bit stripped back. And then obviously the boyfriend dies, and then the doctor essentially lives, but then gets left in the building. I was a bit like, this woman, I feel like, did the worst to you. Like, I would have made sure she was dead, and I would have made sure she suffered. considering she also messed up it didn't mess up the plan, but like, you know, interfered, whereas the other people just tried to do the traps and then died. So I don't know, I think there could have been some more severity and, you know, depth and craziness with the twist. I felt like it was very stripped back, again, kind of similar with sort of the dialogue and emotion, and maybe there was a reason for that, I don't know, but that's just what I took from it. You know, I thought it was a good film. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I didn't want to stop watching. It was fun. You know, I wouldn't be mad if they did another one. Like, it would be nice to get more of Amanda and John and see them really getting into doing the traps and just seeing some more stuff before he died. I think John died way too early in this franchise anyway, and I think the fact that we rely on flashbacks for the rest of the movies kind of sucks. And I do wish that we obviously had the opportunity to see more of John. So the fact that we have him in 10, maybe if this film does incredibly well, they will do another one. I'm sure they will, because nowadays it is about money. But fans I'm sure would want to see another, as I would as well. So I rated this one a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I think it's just below the first one, kind of on a par with maybe like the third or the fourth in terms of my rating, but it was a positive comeback. I think, yeah, it was a good fun watch. So obviously, like, I will probably be getting this DVD when it comes out, and I'll definitely give it a rewatch. I had a good time with it, so that's all that matters. But apart from that, happy Spooktober, people. It is the 2nd of October that I'm filming this video, and it's October, it's spooky season, so I will be trying to come out with as many videos as I can this month, as this is what the channel is based around. Don't forget to check out my TikTok, as I mentioned in my previous video. It's linked down below. On my TikTok, I'm going full spooky. I've been doing spooky content since like the beginning of September, so go and check that one out. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video.